If you walk the north hallways of St. Ives Medical Academy late at night, past the chemistry labs, past the boarded-up maintenance stairwell, you may feel something strange, a pressure in your ears, a sudden chill, and if you're very quiet, you might hear something that no one talks about anymore, but no one's ever really forgotten. Screams, faint, echoing, muffled by stone and time. Not screams of pain, not screams for help, but the kind of screams people make when they've lost everything, even their minds. Because long before it was a school, St. Ives was something else, a hospital. And what lies beneath it, deep below the foundations, in the places not shown on the blueprints, is a chapter of history they tried to seal away, until one student opened it again. St. Ives Medical Academy stood like a monument out of time. Towers of weathered stone, narrow arched windows, long corridors that felt too dark, even in daylight. Most students saw it as an old boarding school, Gothic, haunted-looking maybe, but just old. What few of them knew was that the school had only been operating since 1983. Before that, for over 60 years, the building had served as a government-run psychiatric hospital, one of the largest in the region, a place where the most troubled minds were sent, and where many never returned. It started with renovations. In early spring, the school began upgrading its heating system. Workers entered the old boiler room, a space no student ever went near. And there, behind a rusted utility panel bolted to the brick wall, they found a staircase, one that didn't appear on any map, one that descended deep into darkness. At first, they assumed it led to old supply tunnels, until one of the crew members emerged, pale, shaking, refusing to speak about what he'd seen. All he said was, "You need to seal that up. No one should be down there." By the next morning, the staircase was welded shut. Warning signs posted, case closed. But it was too late. The rumors had already started. Dylan Mercer was 17, restless, rebellious, the kind of student who filmed ghost hunting videos on his phone and posted them online for a small but growing fan base. When he heard about the hidden ward, he was instantly obsessed. He cornered a janitor one evening, slipped him a $10 bill and a Red Bull, and the man reluctantly confirmed it. There's something down there, all right. But it's not just pipes and rats. It used to be called Ward B Isolation. They locked patients down there. The violent ones, the screamers. That was all Dylan needed to hear. He made a plan. One weekend in May, while the other students were away on a field trip, he'd sneak into the boiler room, record everything, and prove once and for all that the ghost stories were real. He waited until just past midnight. Phone, charged. Flashlight, fresh batteries. Crowbar, check. Nerves, not so much. He slipped past the maintenance office, unlocked the old boiler room, and crept down the rusted stairs. The air changed instantly, thick, metallic. It smelled like mold and rust and something faintly sweet, like decaying flowers. He reached the panel, tore it open. Beyond it, darkness and steps. Old stone, narrow, crumbling with age. He began filming. Dylan's flashlight flickers. He mutters to himself, half laughing, "All right, this is it. Hidden psych ward under St. Ives. Let's see what the school's hiding." As he descended, he passed graffiti, but not the kind students would leave. These markings were old. Symbols, numbers, etchings scratched into the stone walls. At the bottom, the staircase opened into a corridor. White tiles, cracked and yellowed. Broken gurneys lay against the walls like abandoned skeletons. And in the silence, he heard it. Whispers, so soft he couldn't tell if they were real, or just the blood pounding in his ears. Most of the doors were sealed shut with rust, except one. Room 13B. Its door hung slightly open. Scratches lined the frame. A heavy lock dangled uselessly from a broken latch. Inside was small, windowless. At the center sat a single metal chair, bolted to the floor. Restraints, thick leather straps, still clung to the armrests. Dylan stepped inside. As he scanned the room, the walls seemed to move. Not literally, but with carvings, names, numbers, and one phrase scratched again and again into the paint. They said I'd get better. They lied. That's when he heard it again. Breathing. He turned. The door slammed shut. His flashlight flickered, then died. From the hallway, he heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. He pressed against the door, trying to open it, but it wouldn't budge. The whispers grew louder. And then, from the corner of the room, he saw something move. A figure. Pale, thin, wearing a tattered patient gown. Its head hung low, hair matted, arms too long, fingers twitching. It whispered again. They said I'd get better. Dylan screamed. The camera dropped. The video cut to static. Dylan was never seen again. The school claimed he ran away, but his phone was found just outside the sealed stairwell. Shattered, screen cracked. Authorities searched for 3 weeks. Cadaver dogs refused to go near the boiler room. The janitor who helped him quit. One of his staff said she woke up in the middle of the night, weeks later, and heard a chair scraping on stone, right below her dorm room. Another said she heard voices, through the heating vents, dozens of them, whispering in unison. They lied, they lied, they lied. Some say St. Ives is just an old school with a dark history, but others know better. They know what lies buried beneath the floorboards, what was locked behind welded doors for a reason. And they know the past doesn't stay buried forever. It waits, it remembers, and sometimes it whispers back. Thank you for walking with us through the darkened halls of forgotten history. If you believe the past leaves traces, if you believe some stories were meant to be heard, then subscribe, share, and stay curious. Because somewhere out there, in looms left abandoned, in corridors beneath our feet, the truth is still waiting. This is Whispering History, and we never stop listening.